Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Denise, and on this channel I talk a lot about minimalism and intentional living. In this video I wanted to touch on some very simple minimalist self-care habits that I like to practice as a highly sensitive person. So as a highly sensitive person, I get very easily overwhelmed by just normal life situations, really. I do work a full-time job where I am constantly talking to people on the phone. It's very customer service based and it physically hurts. And no, I'm not joking. So as you can imagine, I am feeling very drained by the end of the work week, and I have to be very intentional about how I spend my weekends, because if I don't get proper rest or a proper reset that I need, then it can really affect how I go into the following work week. So my weekends, especially my Saturdays, tend to be filled up with self-care activities, and I don't think these are like the typical glamorized self-care that we see on social media nowadays. These are just some very simple self-care activities that really help me as a highly sensitive person. So number one, I really like to make time to have a nice, cozy, slow morning on my Saturday mornings whenever I can. And for the most part, this is something that I am able to achieve. So what this looks like for me is I tend to sleep in a little longer than I normally would on my Monday through Friday. And I don't mean like I'm sleeping until noon or anything like that, but I do like to give myself like an extra hour or two of sleep. I'm usually getting up maybe around 8 or 9 compared to my usual wake up time, which is like 6:30, 6:45. And this just really helps me get extra sleep, especially because I am someone that tends to have trouble sleeping most nights. So yeah, just allowing myself to sleep in those extra hours is really helpful, and it makes a huge difference. So after I wake up, I like to allow myself to just have a slow morning, and what this means for me is making myself a nice healthy homemade breakfast, taking my time eating, taking my time drinking my coffee in the morning, allowing myself to maybe dive into reading a good book for a few minutes, maybe like half an hour to an hour before starting the rest of my day. And slow mornings is something that I always crave, and I can't really have it when I have to be out the door and at work by 9 a.m. So this is something that I really look forward to and really savor on my Saturday mornings. So once I have taken my time eating my breakfast, drinking my coffee, and just having a nice, slow, relaxing morning, I like to get straight into completing my chores for the day. And I know this doesn't really sound like self-care, but as a highly sensitive person, having a clean home is really a must. And sometimes during the work week, my home can get a little messy just like anyone else's, so I really just like to organize and clean my space, do any of the dishes in the kitchen, do any of the laundry that needs to be done, clean my floors, wipe down countertops, and just make my space feel very clean and tidy. Because when I have a tidy space, my mind just feels more calm and organized. So I also like to get this done first thing in the morning. And honestly, for me, it is self-care because it's very soothing and relaxing to not only clean my space, but also the feeling afterwards by having a nice clean space. And as a homebody, that is very important. So once my home is clean and I feel more at ease mentally because of my tidy space, I then like to go into doing things like my skincare. Sometimes I'll even take like an everything shower. If you don't know what an everything shower is, it basically means we're washing the hair, we're exfoliating, we're shaving, moisturizing, like all the things, leave-in hair mask for the hair. And there's just something so relaxing about taking a long shower and taking my time to just do things for me and that make me feel good. And I know some people are going to say like showering isn't self-care, it's an essential, it's a necessity. And yes, but I'm talking about just like taking a nice long shower without rushing through it and just taking care of my body in that way. And I find this very, very relaxing. It puts me in a good mood for the rest of the day, and it just helps me feel a little better about myself, you know? So after I take an everything shower, I will also do my skincare during this time. And this just means taking a little extra time and just doing the extra steps I wouldn't typically do during the work week, just because I am lazy and I don't have that much time. I might do like a face mask or just take my time and actually enjoy my skincare routine. I find it very relaxing and very satisfying. And then after I'm done with that, I usually do like to just take time and do my makeup and get myself at least a little bit ready for the day. And another thing that I like to do during the rest of my day is just kind of take a break from cheap dopamine. And what I mean by this is I try to really avoid just mindlessly scrolling on my phone or just sitting on the couch and watching tons of TV, at least during the daytime. And I try to just dive into some other hobbies and activities that I don't typically get to do during the rest of the week. I might dive into a good book or cook or bake something, because I love being in the kitchen and I love cooking, I love baking, especially during the fall, winter season where things are just a little bit more cozy. I love to just take my time and bake like cookies from scratch, make some bread from scratch, or like a big pot of chili or soup. I love soup season. For example, today I made a huge pot of chicken noodle soup, and that's going to be our dinner for later today. But yeah, I just find it really relaxing and soothing to just be able to take my time and cook or bake something from scratch, or just sit down and read a book for a couple of hours without really having to worry about anything else. And this just really helps to calm my very overwhelmed mind. So normally my husband does have to work on Saturdays, so I do have the whole day to myself, which is kind of why I choose Saturday to just do all the self-care activities. But once he does get home, we typically do like to just get outside and get some activity in as well, which I think is really, really important to stay healthy, not only for my physical health, but also for my mental health. I tend to kind of get into a depressive state if I don't go outside for some time. So I try to do my best to get out there and at least go for a walk or maybe play some tennis. We have been loving going to one of our favorite parks and just taking a nice long walk. And it's just a great way to just get some fresh air, get some vitamin D, and get outside the house. The colors have been changing here now that we're in fall season, and it's just so beautiful outside. So it's been really nice to just go on a walk and take all of it in. And once we come back home, we just like to have a very cozy night in. We do stay in most nights. If we go out on a date night, it's normally for a special occasion. But most nights we just like to stay in because not only does this save us money, but we're both homebodies, so we're very happy to just stay in and have a date night at home. So we'll have some dinner, watch a movie, and just cozy up on the couch with some good snacks. And honestly, I think I just like described my perfect day in one video. I love days like these, and I really try to implement them as much as I can, especially on Saturdays, because it's the one day that I really can do that. And not that I don't like to go out and socialize and hang out with friends. I do like to do these things, but I try to be very, very intentional and plan when I do these things, just to make sure that I also do set time aside for some self-care, because like I said, I'm a highly sensitive person, and if I don't do these things to take care of myself, then I will quickly become very, very unhappy and overwhelmed. I also think that I am someone that really thrives when I have lots of alone time and lots of time to just unwind. So those are just some of the very simple minimalist self-care activities that I like to practice as a highly sensitive person. I would love to know some of your self-care habits that you have found to be very helpful for you. These self-care activities also, for the most part, cost no money at all. I mean, you're not even leaving your house, so there you go. And also, I'm not like spending tons of money on all these different skincare products. I'm not paying for any sort of services or anything like that. Everything I'm doing is in my own home, so this also helps to save me some money. Like I've mentioned before, I am really just on a simple living, frugal living journey. So this is what I've been doing, and I really, really enjoy it. Let me know some of your favorite self-care activities and some things that you find really helpful when you are feeling completely overwhelmed. I would love to know what those activities are. But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.